All right, let's get straight to it. If you're here, you're not just trying to scrape by in IGCSE Physics, are you? No, you're aiming for the top. You're going for that A star. And that's exactly what we're going to break down today. A clear, step-by-step blueprint to make that A star a reality.
And let's be real for a second. When you first look at that IGCSE Physics syllabus, wow, it can feel pretty overwhelming, right? You see all these topics, all these formulas, and that A star suddenly feels like it's a million miles away. It's a totally normal feeling, trust me. But here's the good news. We are going to change that, starting right now. Because here's the big secret. Getting an A star isn't about being some kind of physics genius. Not at all. It's all about having the right strategy. It's a problem you can solve, and in the next few minutes, we're going to lay out the exact game plan to get you there.
Okay, Section 1, your A-star blueprint. Look, before you even think about opening a textbook, you need a plan. And the foundation for our entire plan, well, it comes down to one single crucial document.
I'm talking about the syllabus. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's just a long, boring list of topics, right? Wrong. That is the biggest mistake you can make. You need to think of this document as your treasure map. It's the exam's instruction manual. Cambridge is literally telling you everything you need to know, even the exact wording for definitions they'll give you marks for. It's all right there.
So how do you actually use this thing? It's simple, really. First, just read it, start to finish. Get a feel for the whole landscape. Then you've got to be honest with yourself. What are your weak spots? Maybe electricity and magnetism feel huge, while space physics seems more manageable. Prioritize the tough stuff and build your entire study schedule around that. It's that straightforward.
All right, so once you've got that plan, it's time to actually dive into the learning. And this next part, beyond rote memorization, is where so many students get it wrong. They think physics is just about cramming facts and formulas. But to get that A star, you have to go way, way deeper than that.
See, there's a huge difference between memorizing and understanding. Memorizing is just spitting back definitions. It's plugging numbers into a formula you don't really get. Understanding, well, that's being able to look at a brand new problem and know why a certain formula works. The exam isn't going to just ask you to recite something. It's going to test if you can apply your knowledge. That's the ACE difference right there.
So how do you get there? You have to visualize it. Seriously, don't just read your textbook or someone else's notes. You need to make your own. I'm talking mind maps that connect different ideas. Draw out every single scenario. Light rays, force diagrams, velocity time graphs, you name it. Color code everything. When you actively build your own notes like this, you're not just reading, you're processing. And that's what makes it stick.
Okay, let's talk about the math. There's no escaping it in physics. But listen, you don't have to be scared of the formulas. The key is to unlock them with a smart system.
And here's my #1 tip for this. Create your own formula booklet. Don't just download one. Actually write them all out, grouped by topic, using the official symbols from the syllabus. When you do this, something amazing happens. You start to see how everything connects. You'll see how a formula from one topic can pop up in a totally different one. It makes you a much smarter, more flexible problem solver.
And speaking of formulas, please don't fall into this trap. It's heartbreaking, really. You see students who know the concept, they know the formula, they do all the hard work, and then they lose marks because they got the units wrong, forgetting to convert grams to kilograms or something simple like that. You have got to master your SI units and conversions. It's non-negotiable. Seriously.
All right, moving on to what is, without a doubt, the single most powerful weapon in your arsenal. If you forget everything else I say today, please remember this. We need to talk about how to conquer the past papers.
I really can't say this enough. Past papers are, by far, the most important resource you have, period. This is what separates the A students from the A star students. It's where all that theory you've learned finally meets the real world of the exam. You get inside the examiner's head.
But just doing the papers isn't enough. You need to use the A-star past paper method. Here's how it works. 1. Always time yourself. Recreate real exam conditions. 2. When you mark your work, don't just look at the final answer. You need to dive deep into the mark scheme. Understand exactly what keywords they're looking for to give you a point. 3. If you're stuck, study that mark scheme, go revise the topic, and then try the question again later. And finally, 4. Look for patterns. You'll start to see the same types of questions pop up.
This is so crucial. As you do more and more papers, you'll spot these trends. There are certain knowledge-based questions, definitions, laws, standard explanations that come up all the time. Think of these as free marks. Your job is to find them, memorize the perfect answer straight from the mark scheme, and just collect those points on exam day. Okay, You've done all the hard work, you've prepped, and now it's game day. You're sitting in the exam hall. Let's talk about some winning exam techniques to make sure you get every single mark you deserve.
Here's the first thing you do when you read a question. Before you write anything, just pause for a second. Ask yourself, what physics topic is this really about? Is this a kinematics question? Or is it about conservation of energy? Pinpointing the core concept right away will stop you from going down the wrong path and wasting valuable time.
And here's a real pro-level move for checking your answers, if you've got time at the end. Try to solve a problem using a totally different method. So, for example, you could find the power in a circuit using the voltage and resistance. Then as a check, you could find the current first and use a different power formula. If both methods give you the exact same answer, you can be pretty darn sure you got it right.
So let's wrap this up. Your A summary, it really comes down to 3 things. First, plan with the syllabus. It's your blueprint. Second, understand the concepts. Go beyond just memorizing. And third, practice with purpose. Use those past papers to learn, not just to test yourself. That's the core of the strategy.
Look, getting an A star is amazing, but it's about more than just a grade on a piece of paper. It's about proving to yourself that you can take on a big challenge and succeed. We've laid out the plan, you have the tools, so the only real question left is, are you ready to go get it?
Fundoo Tutor is a personalized learning platform that helps students succeed in Cambridge, IB, and other international curriculums with expert mentorship, structured learning support, and engaging resources.